Hello there, my name is Rudi Kelley. Thank you for tuning into this audio production of Save the Whales. This play has been an absolute joy to put together. Every stage of development saw new obstacles, but each time both myself and my cast were able to rise to the occasion. Now, to make things easy for you, the script should be appearing on the left side of your screen right about now. Feel free to follow along or sit back and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a recording of Save the Whales, a one-act play by Rudi Kelley. Act 1, Scene 1. The Hot Handle Cafe is a shop decorated with nautical memorabilia, a fine wooden finish on most of the surfaces. The shop consists of several booths and tables, a small bar segment and a register. A radio sits on the back counter. A coat rack sits by the entrance. Off to one side is a bathroom. On the other, a street lamp. Harkenthorpe stands behind the register. Killian Moore lounges in one of the booths. Killian unfurls a newspaper.
This is ridiculous. How is she allowed to print this stuff?
What's she saying this time?
Candidate Killian Moore's dog secretly runs a Twitter account, and it turns out he's super racist.
Wait, so are you the racist or is your dog?
I don't know. I don't even have a dog. And if I did, how would he have access to Twitter?
I don't think you should be worried.
Everyone in the village is going to see this. What are they going to think?
Harkin moves out from behind the register.
Everyone in the village knows it's a fake story, so you have nothing to worry about.
Still, can't I just be a little miffed about it?
This is what you signed up for when you agreed to run for harbor master. You knew this would happen.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, it doesn't, but if this is the headline that sinks your career, then you're too good for this town.
You're right, but the stress of this whole thing is killing me.
You only have to put up with this for 2 more days. Elections are Friday.
Exactly. Elections are Friday, and I still have to convince half this town that I'm a better choice for harbor master.
Most of the regulars love you, and after last night, we have nearly every single fisherman and their families on our side. What more do you need?
Killian crumples up the newspaper.
I need to stay away from Katya and her stupid newspaper. I swear if I see her again...
Ding! The bell above the front door rings. Katya Orley enters. Killian looks over.
You! Get out now!
I don't think I will. Harkin, can I get your lunch special?
It'll be ready in a minute.
Harkin goes back behind the counter and begins prepping food.
You've got some nerve coming here after pulling that stunt last night.
Oh, please. You can hate me all you want, but I'm just stating my opinion.
It stops being your opinion when you start lying and hurting others.
You mean like how you lie and say that the town will be better under your leadership?
Killian stands up and moves to Katya.
Now you listen here.
Put forward a plan that's more comprehensive than the current administration sucks, and maybe I'll start listening. Until then, I don't have much else to say to you.
Well, I still have something to say to you, Katya. I would start getting my finances in order if I were you.
Excuse me?
I don't know what strings you pulled to get your special permission from the harbor master, but when I win this Friday, that privilege will no longer be yours.
I'm just doing my job.
No, doing your job would be giving a tour. You and I both know that you're doing a hell of a lot more than that.
You really are terrible. You know that?
Depends on who you ask.
You know what? How about you?
Ding!
Order your fricatia.
Harkin places a white bag on the counter. Katya walks up and takes it. She looks back at Killian.
If you would excuse me, I have to get to work. Have a good day, Harkin.
I'll see you around, Katya.
Katya exits. Killian releases the tension he built up and moves over to the register.
How do you manage to put up with her? What am I missing?
Well, for starters, she's not writing tabloids about me. And when you go into business, you learn that there are no enemies, only customers.
I never called her my enemy. We just fundamentally disagree on a lot of things.
If you become harbor master, that doesn't matter. She's just like anyone else.
We'll see about that.
What happened to the Killian I knew? The one that fights for everyone?
He's still there. He just needs his morning coffee. I promise you it's fine. I'm just a little on edge this week.
Ding! The bell rings above the door. Jonah Sinclair enters the cafe.
Harkin, how goes things?
Good, Jonah. It's been a while.
Killian approaches Jonah and immediately extends his hand out for a handshake. Jonah accepts.
Now there's the face I want to see. How are you, boy?
I'm doing great, sir. Just trying to keep everything running right now.
Of course. You heard any updates on Andy?
Yeah, he said he'll be back in the shop Tuesday.
That's grand.
He told me that once his foot heals up, he wants to be in the pilot house ASAP.
And you'll be right there with him.
Of course I will. I have something you might want to see.
Jonah reaches into his satchel and pulls out a large sealed envelope. Legal markings stretch across the outside of the envelope.
Is that what I think it is?
Andy gave it to me this morning.
What did he say?
He filled out his ballot right in the hospital bed. He told me, "Moore's the man that has what it takes."
I like the sound of that one. Let's write that down.
It's a little late for a new slogan.
From what I hear, you got the town turning out for you.
Don't you go getting my hopes up like that. Elections aren't until Friday. How about you grab a seat? I'm assuming you want the usual?
You know me too well.
Jonah sits down in the booth. Killian fills up a mug of coffee and brings it over to Jonah.
I'm sure you passed Katya on your way in.
Good joke. You're joking, right?
You would think so.
Really? After last night's fiasco?
That's what I said.
One of these days, someone's just gonna snap at her.
You mean like how she snaps at me?
Yeah, exactly like that.
I can't imagine getting this worked up over something so stupid.
Ding! The bell rings above the door. Tegan Perry enters the cafe. Harkin looks up from behind the register.
Feel free to grab a seat wherever, miss. I'll be with you in a second.
She needs to learn to shut her mouth about this whole thing.
Tegan sits at a table.
You're preaching to the choir. I listened in on the radios today, and all the fishermen are talking about her. To make things worse, they're lumping our businesses together. I didn't even say anything last night.
I get you.
Harkin approaches Tegan's table.
I take it you're new in town?
No, I'm just here for a couple days. Do you have a menu?
Sure. I'll be right back.
Harkin walks back to the register.
So, new girl, why did you come to Islesboro?
I'm sorry?
Jonah rises up and walks over to the table.
Well, not a lot of people come here, so when they do, they usually have a reason.
I was sent here to cover the situation with the whale.
Everyone except Tegan stops and stares at her.
Did I say something?
What have you heard about the whale?
Just that there's a whale stuck in a nearby channel.
Well, that's all you need to know.
I was just hoping to get some context around.
You want context? Harkin! Can you get the map out? We've got an out-of-towner.
Killian looks at Tegan.
Look, you seem like a pretty smart girl, so you'll see the problem right away.
Harkin pulls down a map of the island and surrounding water.
We are here.
He indicates his location on the map behind him. As he speaks, he traces a finger across the channel route.
And the best fishing spot in our town is located there, right through the channel. Normally, our fishermen will just go through and spend their day fishing. But ever since that orca plopped down there, the harbor master is making all of us go the long way around the island.
Well, almost all of us.
Don't remind me.
He said we can't go within 500 feet of it, or else we'll be fined. Do you know how hard it is to give a whale watching tour when you can't watch the whales?
On top of that, Jonah's competitor gets to go right up to the whale to check it out.
She calls it research because she studied marine biology. I call it blatant favoritism in the free market.
And who is this competitor of yours?
Her name is Katya. She runs a whale watching tour, just like me.
I suppose you two are on the best of terms.
Well, I would like to think we're friends, or that we could be friends, but she's just so unreasonable sometimes.
What do you mean?
Well, we both run tours here for starters, and we both want this whale out in the channel protected at all costs. But then she goes and flies off the handle.
Jonah motions over to Killian.
Take last night. Completely uncalled for and unprofessional.
And what exactly happened last night?
It wasn't anything we hadn't heard before. The harbor master just told us the new regulations for the week, effective immediately. And like normal, Killian and the fishermen had a little back and forth with them. Everything was still calm and under control. Then she just unleashed a storm on them. I was scared, and I'm the one that's supposed to be agreeing with her.
It's all very local, but we get fishermen in here every day complaining about it. If you want to hear this town's thoughts on the whale, they're the people you want to talk to.
Harkin returns with a menu.
If you're willing to stick around, the lunch rush usually comes in at 11:30. You would like what the fishermen have to say.
Well, it used to be 11:30. Nowadays it's a little later. You know, because they have to take the long way around.
I'll consider it.
That's been the hot button recently. Almost everyone is divided over this damn whale. Half the town wants it gone by any means necessary. The other half is willing to take sacrifices to their own life to protect it.
And where do you stand on the matter?
I work with a lot of fishermen. Every single one of them wants this whale gone, and I couldn't agree more.
Most of the people that come here have been affected by the whale's presence.
Jonah's phone begins buzzing in his pocket. He pulls it out.
Hold on. Harkin, can you put my food on the warmer? You'll never guess who's calling.
Jonah walks into the cafe's bathroom and closes the door behind him. He answers the phone.
Katia, what do you want?
I'm in a rough spot right now.
Let me guess. Your piss-poor attitude towards the livelihood of everyone in Islesboro has come back to haunt you in a thematically appropriate way.
What? I mean, kind of. Wait, how did you know that?
Well, after last night, it was a safe bet. Now what happened?
Someone trashed my boat. The engine is in pieces.
Don't all engines technically come in pieces?
This isn't the time to be funny.
Well, I can't really do anything for you.
You and Andy run the marina store. I thought you could give me an estimate.
No. Andy runs the marina store. I run the tours. And as you know, Andy is not in right now, so you'll just have to wait.
Look, Jonah, I know we aren't always on the right foot.
This isn't my problem. Maybe if you had just kept your mouth shut last night.
Oh, so now this is my fault?
Yes, absolutely yes. I can't believe that thought is just now crossing your mind.
So what? You would rather I just shut up and let Killian take over? I thought we were fighting for the same thing.
Don't lump us together like that. We're not the same.
Well, someone had to say what I said. Do you know what Killian will do to the whale if he wins?
I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But I'm not just gonna throw away my career because I can't keep an opinion to myself.
No, of course not. You'd rather be a coward and throw your head in the sand because you're afraid to upset your friends.
Or maybe I can actually see the other side, unlike you.
Sorry that I care about the truth more than money.
Oh, you're right. You know that? You're right. So how about you stick to the truth and the nice broken engine that comes with it?
What happened to freedom of speech?
You're allowed to say whatever you want, Katia. You just aren't free from the consequences of it, evidently.
Look, can you help me with this or not?
I can offer something better.
Don't start with that.
It would solve your problems, is all I'm gonna say.
I'm not selling off to you.
And the best I can do is put in an order Tuesday. It should take about 2 weeks for the parts to come in.
I don't have that long.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't determine when the supply chain gets backed up. In the meantime, you'll have to downsize and use your dinghy. Bring me a list of everything you need, and I'll see if Andy can put it in an order.
Fine. I'll see you later. Meet me at the Hot Handle Cafe for lunch.
Jonah puts his phone back into his pocket and returns to the main part of the cafe. Harkin, Killian, and Tegan are in the middle of a conversation.
If you're gonna talk about the town's history, at least get it right.
I hear ya. So the Ruby, this big honkin' ship, is crating supplies over for the British. It gets to the coastline of Maine. It's going to arrive any day now. Then it goes missing. Poof. No one ever hears from it again.
It's frustrated the locals for decades. We know it went missing around here, but we haven't been able to get any solid leads.
They say that the ship's remains lie somewhere along the coast, waiting for anyone brave enough.
Or stupid enough.
To search for it.
So no one's ever found this cargo ship. What was it transporting?
We don't really like to talk about that.
It was a British ship in the 1700s. I'll give you one guess.
So there's a piece of history out there, just undiscovered?
Undiscovered? Maybe. No one wants to find it.
Not true. The Maine Historical Society would kill to find out where it is.
But back to the modern day drama. That orca that's out in the channel, it's injured and it's away from its pod. According to all laws of nature, it's gonna die soon anyways, so why not just speed up the process?
Well, when you talk like that, I start to see where this Katya girl's coming from.
A lot of people tend to say that until they actually have to deal with the whale. Or talk to Katya, for that matter.
You really seem to have a grudge against this Katya.
It's not just us. Someone destroyed her boat last night.
You're serious?
She just called me to ask about replacing her engine block.
It's gotten that bad.
New girl, when I say that this place is heavy into local politics, I mean it.
My name is Tegan. And are you really saying that one of those fishermen trashed her boat?
Without a doubt, Hell, I'm surprised they didn't tie her to the wheel and send her out to sea.
So this is just something that happens in your town, and none of you seem bothered by it?
For most of us, no, this has never happened. But if pissing people off was a sport, she'd be an Olympic athlete. I've been trying to get her to merge her company with mine, but nowadays she seems happy spitting into the court of public opinion.
But why would you want to merge with her if she's so unpopular?
Because Jonah agrees with her. He just can't say it out loud.
Now that's interesting.
I don't get what's so interesting about it.
If I'm hearing this correctly, you just keep your mouth shut, help yourself.
It's a sound strategy around here. Don't get me wrong. On Friday, Jonah here is going to vote to keep the current harbor master in power because he wants that whale to get taken care of by professionals. Even with that, we still respect each other. He's my friend, and he'll be happy for me when I win.
That's right.
Just goes to show you that politics aren't everything.
Scuttler runs into the cafe.
Hey ho, Killian!
Scuttler, just the little man I was looking for. Did you get those flyers done?
Spent most of the night working on them. Here they are.
Scuttler unfurls 2 flyers. In big letters it reads, "We want more," and "Kill the whale, save the town."
What were you saying about politics?
Scuttler turns to Tegan.
Hey, miss, be sure to vote for more this Friday.
She's a tourist, Scuttler.
Oh, don't vote in the election this Friday. Don't commit voter fraud.
Thank you, Scuttler. I'll get you your money for the flyers tonight. Why don't you go put those up around town?
You've got it, sir.
As Scuttler runs to the exit, Tegan follows him. He stops and they both stand outside the cafe by the streetlight.
Hey, child, you mind if I ask you some questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Are you working with Mr. Moore, the man inside that cafe?
Tegan begins writing things down for an interview.
Of course I am. He's one of the nicest people in town. He treats me like a grown-up. Everyone else is just mean.
I thought this town was supposed to be a close-knit community.
It is, but I moved here when I was really young. And for some reason, most of the people here don't treat my dad the same. But the Moores love us. They don't care about all of that. But the other kids in my class don't talk to me. And when they do, it's usually because I'm the butt of their jokes.
Wow. I didn't know people here did that.
Oh, it's okay. I hear stuff like that all the time. One time, I was talking with Andy. He's kind of a big deal around here. And after a while, he looked at me and he said, "Scuttler, you aren't the stupidest person I've ever met, but you better hope they don't die." And I think about that a lot.
I'm sorry.
And me too. Imagine how much being that other guy sucks.
Tegan pauses. That wasn't the response she was expecting.
Yeah, and you're way smarter than him, right?
I'm actually a genius. People just don't believe me.
Really?
Yup, I've already gotten the whole whale problem solved. We need to get rid of the whale, and that's why I'm helping Mr. Moore, but not for the reason that everyone is talking about.
And why do you want to get rid of the whale?
This orca that everyone is worried about? I'm pretty sure is actually a remnant of the KGB.
It's a remnant of the KGB.
Yes! Finally someone who understands what I'm saying.
Why are you so sure it's a remnant of the KGB?
Well, I speak fluent whale, and I will admit, my orca's a little rusty, but I'm pretty sure it was talking about its time serving the Soviet Union.
Really? He just admitted it to you? He didn't even try to hide it?
Well, he said that his current mission is nearly complete, so he doesn't have to hide anymore.
Did he happen to say something else, Bud? Maybe the winning Powerball numbers last night?
Yes, he started talking to me about...
Tegan takes a step back towards the cafe.
Look, it's been great talking to you, but I really should get back inside.
You believe me, right?
Tegan pauses. Does she really want to break this kid's heart?
Of course I believe you. As a matter of fact, next week, I'd love it if you could show me the whale and translate what it's saying. How does that sound?
That's great. I promise I won't disappoint you. I need to get these flyers up.
Scuttler exits. Tegan re-enters the cafe.
I assume you just tried to interview Scuttler for your story.
I thought it would be an interesting perspective.
Did you learn your lesson?
I just don't understand how he has so much energy.
Trust me, it's a feature, not a flaw. He's willing to help just about anybody.
Don't you think it's a little manipulative to have a teenager working on your campaign?
Not in the slightest. I'm one of the only people around here that his family is close with.
I thought you said this was a tight-knit, everyone likes everyone community.
It is. That's the problem.
I sense some frustration in your voice. Tell me more.
As much as we love this little town, it does have some problems.
And why is that?
He and his family are outsiders, according to most people, and even though we could care less, others around here just don't quite think the same way.
What do you mean by an outsider?
He wasn't born here. He and his parents come from the mainland to benefit from our fishing economy. I don't see anything wrong with that. Fortunately, I'm not most people.
What exactly makes someone an outsider?
Everyone has their own definitions, all so that they can feel high and mighty. All I know is that if you don't see like you belong here, the town basically exiles you. That's what happened to his parents.
Really? Just like that? So, why do you think differently?
It stems from something I heard once when I was out on the water. You hear this sort of stuff every day with fishermen, sometimes it sticks with you. Have you ever heard this saying about giving a man a fish?
You mean give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime? That one?
It's an old one, and personally I think it's stupid. I think that people that don't fish miss the point of that saying. See, you don't learn how to fish overnight. It takes practice. So how about we give a man a fish and then teach him so he doesn't have to learn on an empty stomach?
I don't think I understand you.
I want what's best for the fishermen here, and it seems weird that to everybody outside the fishing community. I'm the bad guy for saying that. I'm promoting laziness and being soft. Just because they had to fish on an empty stomach when they were younger, all of a sudden we should force others as well. Just doesn't make sense.
But in order to make things easier for your fishermen, are you willing to kill the whale in the channel?
I am. I'm not afraid to say it. But I understand that not everybody thinks like that.
So, what do you think when someone like Katya, the girl you were all hating on, says that the whale in the channel is more important?
Honestly, I don't have a good response to that. I don't think she spends enough time with our fishermen. Because if she did, she'd realize just how important they are. That whale has been out there for far longer than anyone expected. Honestly, I thought it was starved by now, and yet we are still stuck fighting each other.
But according to your words, all that she wants to do is get a marine biologist to help the whale.
And she is completely right to say that. Few problems, however. Let's say those marine biologists come, they observe the whale. What comes next? Are they going to move the whale out of here? Is there a pod they can bring it back to? How long do my fishermen have to wait for it to clear out? How long is too long?
It doesn't seem like that big of a sacrifice.
No, doesn't seem that way, but let's break it down. Our town of 500 has been spending an extra $3,000 every day on gas and extra time going the long way around the island. Doing the math, that's $6 a person. Alright, kid, how much does one of your lunch specials cost?
$6.
I rest my case. If you want the people in this village to choose between a whale and lunch, be my guest. But don't be surprised when you don't like the answer.
Katya enters, a parts list in hand. She looks over at Killian.
I was hoping you would be gone by now.
And I was hoping you'd never be back. Yet here we are.
Do you ever leave here?
Do you ever walk into a room and have anyone say that they're happy to see you? Yeah, that's what I thought.
You are the worst.
I just saw the town poll numbers. I have a little over half the town that would disagree.
You really think you're going to win this?
Katya, doesn't matter if you or your tourists badmouth me. What matters is that the locals really hate our harbor master.
What are you talking about?
Oh, maybe the news didn't reach you in your business bubble. The harbor master said it's going to be at least another week before someone comes to check on the whale, and people aren't going to stand for it.
And what's your plan?
You mean when I'm elected? I'll figure something out.
I swear, I will bury you in the press before...
Jonah physically puts himself between Katya and Killian.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. You two are acting like children.
Well,
She started it!
I'm not dealing with this right now. Katya, meet me outside.
I am in the middle of something.
This is more important.
Jonah exits the cafe. He waits by the streetlight.
You better hurry. You won't want to piss off yet another person.
Katya flips off Killian, then huffs outside.
Do you want to calm down now?
You need to stay out of this. This is between me and him.
Katya, you need to listen to me.
No, you need to listen to me. I'm tired
I
of you.
know you've been feeding the whale.
What? What are you talking about?
Jonah reaches into his satchel and produces a receipt.
A $537 grocery bill is a bit much for a woman who lives alone.
Where did you get that?
I have my ways. So tell me, why are you feeding that whale in the channel?
I'm not feeding that whale.
You are. There's no point in denying it. I just want to hear you say it.
Well, that's too bad.
Jonah starts walking towards the door of the cafe.
Oh, well, I'm sure Killian would love to see this then.
Wait, what do you want?
I want you to consider Andy and I's offer. We could really use a third hand at the Maranout. Agree to negotiate, and I forget about this little piece of paper.
Katya pauses.
I'll meet Tuesday, after Andy is back in the shop.
That's what I like to hear.
Jonah holds the receipt out. Katya quickly snatches it and stuffs it into her pocket.
And Katya, keep on feeding the orca, but for the love of God, be more discreet about it.
Now you care about the orca?
Of course I do. According to you, we're fighting for the same thing.
Jonah re-enters the cafe. Katya follows a few moments later.
Did you get her settled down?
Killian, don't start this again.
You better not start this again. My lunch crowd will be coming in any minute.
I'll play nice.
Ding! Customer number 1 enters. Harkin, how are ya? Ding! The bell rings again. Customer number 2 enters.
Doing great, John. How's the catch, Tay?
The catch is all right.
It was getting to it that's the problem.
Marcus, it's good to see you.
Ding! The bell rings again. This time, customer number 3 enters.
Likewise. What's the special today?
Do you even have to ask?
Whatever it is, I'll take it.
Killian hops off his seat. The bell rings again. Customer number 4 storms into the room.
Killian, did you hear what the harbor master was saying?
I heard it this morning. Trust me, we aren't happy.
You didn't hear this from me, but I think someone should just take out that whale. Drive it straight out of Maine.
That's what I'm saying. How hard could it be? I bet if you looked her square in the eyes and tell her, back off, you blubbering beast, she'd be too scared to ever come back here again.
You tell him more!
It's gonna be a great day when you take office.
I love your energy, but are any of you gonna order?
I'll take my usual.
3 dinners to go.
You have one that's gluten-free, right?
The bell rings again. Ding! Customer number 5 enters the cafe. Harkin, can you throw on 7 smoke steamers to go?
They'll be ready in a few.
More, did you hear what the harbor master was saying?
Everyone's seen it, Arnold. It's ridiculous.
Surely he knows what he's doing is wrong.
I tried reasoning with him. There's no way we can let this whale destroy everything we built.
Yeah, that's why we love you, More.
I'll tell you what, if, nay, when I win, this whale is gone. No questions asked.
Do you promise?
I promise.
Like that means anything.
Oh, Katya, I forgot you were even here. I was thinking about what you said earlier. I've come up with quite the plan. You want to hear about it?
Oh, tell it to us, Killian.
Show us what we're voting for.
Killian climbs on top of a table and looks at the audience. He clears his throat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been faced with a seemingly insurmountable problem over these past few weeks. It's a problem that's plaguing nearly every single family on Islesboro. That problem is not some killer whale, but rather the incompetent harbor master who lets us stay here.
Hell yeah!
These past few weeks have been a nightmare of his design. Everyone is working longer and harder for less pay due to his tyrannical rules, and we've had enough.
That's right.
So you go out and you tell your friends when you vote for me this Friday, remember that you're not just voting to protect yourself, you're voting to protect this entire town. It's time that we put our collective needs first and deal with this whale as soon as possible.
And how are you going to do that?
To quote a wise man, this whale is my Moby Dick and I'm Captain Ahab.
What does that mean?
It means come Friday, we're killing that damn whale.
Vote for more.
Vote for more. We want more. We want more. Vote for more. We want more. The customers continue chanting as Killian stands atop a table, soaking up the spotlight. Katya and Jonah stand in the corner of the cafe, looking disgusted. Lights down. Scene 2. The center of the Hot Handle Cafe has been rearranged. A table and chairs act as an imaginary boat. Atop the table is Killian and Scuttler. Scuttler holds a broom like a rifle. On the wall of the cafe is a large "We Want More" banner.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
You ever wonder what we're doing here?
No. Fine, I'll play along. Why are we here?
Oh, I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
Scuttler, are you asking about why we're here in like a cosmic sort of sense, or why am I holding a broom on top of a table sort of way?
Yeah.
That doesn't answer the... Anyways, have you been looking over the side like I told you to?
Oh, definitely. No whale is gonna get past these eyes.
Scuttler pauses for a moment, reaches into his pocket, and pulls out his glasses. He puts them on and blinks several times. Moore is looking at him disappointedly.
The whale thinks it can outsmart us, trying to exist in our channel, hurting our fishermen's profit. So when I win today, what are we gonna do about that whale, Scuttler?
We're gonna blast him!
Scuttler makes an imitation gunshot noise with his mouth as he fires his broom rifle.
Are you two done yet? What am I supposed to say if a customer comes inside?
You say, remember to vote for Moore in today's election.
I've been doing that all morning.
I know. I don't think you've done it enough sometimes.
You don't have to. The day that whale's gone, my business goes back to normal.
Why does everything have to be so stressful?
We should know by tonight.
I have an idea. What if I go home and get the other banner?
Sounds like a good idea.
Scuttler exits.
In the meantime, here's to a long day.
The bell of a bicycle rings. Ding, ding. A newspaper hits the door of the cafe. Flop!
10 a.m. It's Katya's paper. I'm just gonna brace myself for whatever hackneyed lie she wrote today.
Or you could choose to not open it. That's always an option.
Can you open it then?
Harkin walks to the door and picks up the paper. She unfolds it and begins reading.
What has she cooked up today? Another lie about my non-existent pets?
It's nothing.
Harkin moves the paper out of Killian's view.
Well, if it's nothing, I can hear it.
It's better if you just focus on the election today.
No, I want to hear what she wrote.
Just more lies.
I can take it. What'd she say?
She's saying that you're responsible for her boat being trashed and that she has proof it was you.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's just another useless headline.
Right? I mean, her proof can't be anything because I didn't do it.
Right. I mean, after that council meeting, everyone just went home.
Just out of curiosity, what's her proof? She's obviously coming up with this stuff as she pleases.
It's your work gloves.
My work gloves?
They're on her boat.
Killian walks over to the coat rack and digs through his coat's pockets.
Huh. Okay, now, I know she's lost her mind because I always keep these in my jacket and they're right over...
He continues searching. He comes up empty.
Is something wrong?
This can't be happening.
Killian rushes over to Harkin and looks at the paper. Those are, in fact, his work gloves on the cover.
Someone's setting me up! Someone's setting me up!
Calm down. There's probably a reasonable explanation.
For what? Someone clearly wants to drag my name through the mud. This is unacceptable.
It can't change anything. The fishermen have already voted for you.
But what about their families? I need them too. What if they see this? This is a PR nightmare.
Clearly someone set you up, but there is nothing we can do about it right now.
I know who it was. I bet it was her, Katya. She came in here yesterday, she insulted me, and I bet she grabbed my gloves, then went and smashed her own engine block to make me look bad.
That's a really big leap in logic. We can't just go around saying that.
Why not? Why are you so civil with her? She writes all these horrible things about me, and you don't react. You just accept it.
I'm trying to stop you from rushing in with your emotions, because we both know how that turns out. So slow down, and let's just think about who was in here Wednesday.
She was. Who else had the opportunity to pull something like that?
Bell rings. Ding! Jonah enters the cafe. He hangs up his coat on the coat rack.
Killian, it's a big day today.
Killian looks over at Jonah. He pauses.
It's been a morning, to say the least.
You're stressed, I can tell.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
Things are gonna be fine. Last time I checked, you had a 4-point lead in the polls. So unless you were dragged into a major scandal in the past couple minutes, you should be golden.
Silence falls on the room. Neither Killian or Harkin want to speak.
Am I missing something?
Katya just published her Election Day newspaper.
The people in this town know better than to trust her.
She said I trashed your boat.
See, that's just ridiculous. We all know it was just a couple random fishermen, but they don't represent you.
Well, one of them stole my gloves, so they do represent me.
Oh gosh, that's a situation. Not to be cynical, but what do you think that does to your numbers?
It's hard to say. The town's already split up pretty evenly. It all comes down to tonight.
So in the meantime, we can focus on something else. Have you thought about what you're going to say tonight?
I have the best speechwriter in town working on it as we speak.
It's Scudler, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Scholar.
I heard some news about Andy. He's saying they might release him from the hospital Monday now.
That's the first good news of the day.
The bell above the door rings. Ding! Tegan enters the cafe. Her jacket is soaking wet.
Oh dear, you must be freezing.
It's fine, really. It just started raining all of a sudden.
Well, not really all of a sudden. We've known about this storm for days now.
And none of you thought to mention it to me?
It's been on the radio all day. Listen.
Tones of an emergency broadcast system play over the airway. This is an emergency broadcast on behalf of the Islesboro Port Authority. A severe weather advisory has been issued for the following counties: Allen County, Jordan County, Noyd County, Waldo County. If you reside in any of these counties, please stay inside. Winds as high as 60 miles per hour and substantial rainfall are expected for the next 16 hours. Loss of power is expected.
Well, if that isn't the way to kill a Friday mood, I don't know what is. I'd get comfortable if I were you, Tegan. Your motel is usually one of the first buildings to lose power, and I don't have a generator.
Great. Can I at least get a coffee?
Mr. Moore!
Scutler runs into the cafe.
Scudler, you're tracking mud on the floor.
I'm sorry, I wanted to find Mr. Moore.
What's happening?
My house just lost power. And I'm scared of the dark.
Where are your parents at?
Everyone is still out on the water.
Not me. I'm not getting struck by lightning.
Well, actually, there hasn't been any lightning yet.
A flash of lightning causes the lights to flicker in the cafe. Thunder can be heard immediately afterward. Everyone looks at Killian.
Upon further review, maybe we should call the boats back in.
Killian picks up the handheld radio.
This is Killian to Arnold. Do you copy?
This is Arnold. I can hear you loud and clear.
You boys are heading in for the day, right?
We've been talking amongst ourselves about that very thing.
Tell them I recommend coming inside. The weather's only going to get worse.
I'll put your word out there for you. Good talking to you, Killian.
Of course. See you back in the marina.
Killian returns the handheld radio to its spot.
You really have that much authority over them.
Authority? No. It's about respect. They know I want what's best for them.
That's why we're having this special election in the first place.
Even if the current harbor master stays in power.
Which won't happen.
Which won't happen, yes, but even if he does stay in power, this will send the message that he can't just go about overreaching his authority.
I see. So, Killian, do you have any prior political experience?
Of course not. These fishermen need a voice. I was the one that was able to answer the call. I couldn't expect one of them to leave their career behind, so I stepped up.
That's surprisingly admirable.
I know, I don't like to say it often, but I do consider myself to be incredibly humble. Now, Scutler, do you have my victory speech prepared?
Scutler pulls out a sheet of paper from his pocket.
It's the best one I've ever written.
Well, hand it over. I need to practice if I want to win tonight.
You will.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Scutler hands Killian a piece of paper. It is a speech written meticulously in blue marker. Killian clears his throat.
80 and several weeks ago, a whale landed in our channel. Now we are engaged in a great civil war.
A loud ringtone interrupts Killian. Jonah fishes into his pockets and pulls out his phone.
Sorry for interrupting. It's Andy, and he probably needs something. I'll be right back.
Jonah quickly moves into the cafe bathroom.
Hello, Andy? Andy, are you ready for tonight? What do you mean the weather is too bad? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity we're talking about. You aren't dropping out now. Look, I have the location of that slave ship. All you have to do is go into the channel tonight and grab anything you can find. It'll be worth millions. No, Andy, you listen to me. I've been covering for you ever since we cooked up this plan with the stupid broken foot story. I have lied to every single person in this town to make this work. I've had to sabotage Katia's boat to keep her out of the way. This is our last night to try this, because if Killian wins this godforsaken election, our little distraction in the channel is gone. No buried treasure, no nothing. So I don't care if the water is a little rough tonight. Man up and dive down there. Yes, look, most of the town is stuck inside because of this storm, and the others are waiting on election results. So just slide into the channel and get the job done. Capiche? Good. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Jonah hangs up the phone and re-enters the cafe. Killian is wrapping up his speech.
And that is why I, Killian Moore, am honored to be your harbor master. I promise to give everything I have to this community and build a better tomorrow.
That was a lot better than I was expecting. A speech written in marker to be.
I told you, I'm a genius.
I think the fishermen will love it.
The handheld radio behind the register springs to life. Static plays for a second before Katia's voice is heard.
Pan, pan, pan. This is maintenance vessel orchestra to all frequencies. Pan, pan, pan. I'm being swept out into the ocean. I've lost control of my craft.
What the hell is she doing out there?
I thought her boat was destroyed.
She has a dinghy she uses for maintenance.
But what is it doing out in open water?
She must have been feeding the whale.
What?
It's a long story.
I don't have time for that right now. If she was feeding the whale, that means she was at one point of the channel. Harkin, put on the map.
Harkin pulls down the map of Islesboro and the surrounding area. Killian traces his finger along the map.
If she was in the channel, that means she can't be too far out.
This is Harbor Master Patrick to orchestra. Be advised that the Coast Guard is being mobilized. A search vessel will be out shortly.
That's the best he can do?
What's wrong with that?
We don't have a Coast Guard station here on the island.
At this rate, it'll take at least 30 minutes for the Coast Guard to get out here. She'll probably be way off that location by then.
So what do we do?
Someone has to...
Killian runs over to the coat rack, grabs his rain slicker, and runs toward the door.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to do the right thing, because someone has to.
You can't go out on the water with that storm.
You wonder what happened to the man who fights for everyone? Well, here he is. Jonah, you're coming with me.
Yes, sir.
I'll be right back. I promise.
Killian and Jonah exit.
He's going to get himself killed at this rate.
Lights down, end of scene 2. Scene 3. The Hot Handle Cafe is full. Harkin, Scuttler, Tegan, Jonah, Killian, and Katia are all in various parts of the cafe. Harkin, Scuttler, and Tegan all have cups. Katia and Jonah are wrapped in blankets in the center of the stage. Killian, thoroughly soaked but unbothered, approaches them with cups of coffee.
So who wants to start? Doesn't matter to me.
I will. I've known that Katia was feeding the workout for a while now. I went along with it because I wanted to save its life.
It's a great confession, Jonah. Put all the blame on the other person.
I thought I was doing the right thing.
See, that's what I was hoping for. I believe you, Katia. I think what you did was stupid, but I understand that what you did was with the best intentions.
Thank you.
I also want to let you know that I'm going to let you off with a warning. What you did out there qualifies as reckless operation of a motorized vessel. But I think you've learned your lesson.
Katia shrugs off the blanket and looks up at Killian.
When the hell did you become harbor master?
I haven't yet. Right now the vote is split, but if my memory serves me, there's still one person in this town who hasn't voted today.
Katia pauses.
And why do you think I'm going to vote for you? I've spent the past 3 weeks campaigning against you.
I know. But you also have to know that the harbor master was willing to let you get lost at sea because he thinks he's above people like us. I promise to never act like that.
So you're going to try to guilt me into voting for you.
Well, he did save your life.
What about the whale? I'm a single issue voter.
Oh! The whale is gonna leave here tomorrow.
What are you talking about?
Jonah stands up and shrugs off his blanket.
Yeah, what are you talking about, kid?
The whale said that he's been guarding the channel for the past couple of weeks, but his mission is complete tomorrow.
Are we really just gonna sit here and listen to this? Seriously, why do we keep indulging him?
I want to hear what he has to say.
The whale told me there's some sort of sunken ship out in the channel. He was sent there to protect it.
Come on now. None of us are seriously gonna sit here and pretend to care about his fantasies.
I will, and honestly, the fact that you seem flustered over this whole issue has me really interested.
What do you expect? I almost just died out on the water. I'm a little on edge right now.
He said 2 men trained him to watch over the channel and act sick.
Shut up, kid.
Don't tell him to shut up.
Hold on. 2 men.
Katya puts it all together in her head.
You and Andy are responsible for this, aren't you?
Andy's in a hospital bed on the mainland with a broken leg.
So if I rode over there right now, I could go see him?
You won't be riding over there anytime soon.
Answer the question. I could go visit him in the hospital right now. Couldn't I? Couldn't I?
Jonah is silent. The whole room is looking at him.
Harkin, aren't you gonna speak up? Tell them that they're making huge leaps in logic or something. Someone, please speak up. This kid doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'll speak up when things don't make sense, Jonah.
All of a sudden, everyone's gonna turn on me? Why? Because this kid claims he speaks whale, which is a dead language, by the way?
There's one way to find out. If we search the channel and we find the cargo ship, I would say that proves the theory.
How does that sound, Jonah?
Jonah again says nothing.
I don't believe this. I trusted you. I trusted Andy.
You knew where this shipwreck was the whole time, and what? You decided you were entitled to it?
If the Historical Society got a hold of it, they would turn it into a monument. I wanted to stake my claim first. None of you can look at me and say you wouldn't do the same.
Katya wouldn't, and I can't believe that I'm sticking up for her. But for every terrible, self-centered decision you made, she was going to do something out of goodwill.
I never thought I'd see you come to my defense.
I still don't agree with you, but in light of all this, I can at least admit that I was a little narrow-sighted.
I think that could be said of this whole town.
The whole town would never admit it, but I can. We almost tore each other apart, and what do we have to show for it?
I think having the courage to admit we were wrong is something not a lot of people have. That's what we have to show them for it.
Well, that's very nice. But unfortunately, I have places to be. Good luck, everyone.
Jonah starts walking towards the door. Everyone except Tegan and Scuttler look away.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to leave?
After everything you did?
None of that was a crime, outsider. I wanted to discover the location of a shipwreck. Ooh, throw me in jail.
You brought that whale into the channel.
Do you honestly think you're going to convince any court in this country that I trained a whale to squat on your land? Go ahead. Be my guest. Look at everyone else. They know they can't stop me.
Scuttler steps forward.
Actually, the whale did mention one more thing.
Go on.
He did mention that you were the one who trashed Katya's boat.
Jonah pats Scuttler on the head.
Good luck proving that one, buddy. We all know some random fisherman did that.
Jonah walks to the exit. Tegan blocks his path.
Katya, do you still have Killian's work gloves?
They're back at my house.
I think the police would love to see if Jonah's fingerprints are on them.
Jonah frantically tries forcing his way past Tegan. Killian grabs him from behind and brings him back into the cafe.
You trashed my boat? You son of a...
Katya runs up to him and punches him square in the face. He goes limp in Killian's arms.
I'm suddenly very glad we aren't enemies anymore.
Killian sets Jonah down in a nearby booth.
Last time I checked, destruction of private property is quite the crime. Katya, if I were you, I would seek damages.
I think I will. Of course, I still need to get my boat up and running.
That'll take a few weeks.
In the meantime, do you think I could work here?
Harkin motions over to Killian.
I already have Killian helping me out here.
We can stop acting like he actually does anything. Besides, he's going to have a new job very soon.
Are you serious?
Now that I know the whale will be safe when it gets out of here, I want a harbor master who's willing to do anything to help others.
Well, this is quite the honor. There's still an hour before the polls close. Let's get you down there.
Katya, to answer your question, with Killian gone, I guess I could use a spare hand around here.
Thank you. It'll just be for a couple weeks.
Tegan moves to the center of the cafe.
I have something to say. When I came here to investigate a story about a whale stuck in a channel, this isn't quite what I was expecting.
I guess that just goes to show you sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction. Especially when the truth involves a hyper-intelligent whale from the Soviet era.
I think I owe you an apology, Scuttler. If I had paid attention to and taken you seriously sooner, this whole mess could have been avoided.
Oh, it's okay. I like to think it makes things more interesting.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. How about this? I propose a toast to the future of Islesboro, whatever it may hold.
Everyone except Jonah clinks their mugs. Lights down. End of Act 1.